Hey guys, I'm coming to you today from the Pleasant Grove Library. I'm in the teens section, close to the children's section, and they're doing a little kids activity, so I don't have to worry about being quiet because it's loud in here. Um, but I wanted to do a video, something that I consider a shortcoming of our Utah politicians. Now, I like to do local stuff. I don't like to do the national stuff because that's just too easy, and there's a ton of people that already talk about it. So I'm usually local Utah stuff, principles, and religion. Those are the things that I like to talk about. So today we're going to talk about something that this was actually it was on KSL 3 weeks ago, and I didn't make a video about it, but I wanted to, and I'm making the video now because it's becoming a national issue. But it started off here in Utah. So Utah made some new rules around social media, giving minors less authority, I guess you could say, to just go and use social media. If you're younger than 18, you have to have parental approval, and I don't think this has gone into implementation yet, but the law has been passed saying that if you're a minor and you want to use social media, you have to have parental permission to do so. Um, and I think like families can sue social media who uh, you know knowingly or neglectfully allow minors to use their social media. It's something along those lines. And I thought it was pretty good because I think we've got over a decade of data now, and it's pretty clear that social media is at least a contributing factor in teen depression, teen suicide. Um, so anyways, I think that it's a great step, and if it's an overstep, if it's an overstep, I think that we'll be able to see that in the next couple of years, and the state of Utah can adjust that. That's the federalist system. The idea is that each state does what they think is the best idea, and if it works really well, then other states can try it too. But here's where I had a problem. So Governor Cox, he signed this thing, and he made an appearance with one of our congressmen. I can't remember. I think it was Chris Stewart, but don't quote me on that. And they were like, "This is a great step that Utah is making to combat the dangers of social media for our youth." And we're really excited because Congress is looking at doing similar things on a nationwide scale. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. You know, Governor Cox or Congressman, whoever you are, which of you doesn't understand the U.S. Constitution? Because that is not what you're supposed to be doing. That's something for the states to decide. The federal government should not be having these. I mean, so the federal government, they're supposed to protect. I think that the charter for what the federal government should be doing can be found mostly in the Constitution and the amendments to the Constitution. That's part of the Constitution and the founding document, the Declaration of Independence. Mostly the Constitution, but also the Declaration of Independence a little bit. If it's not in either of those, the federal government should not be doing it at all. And if you think that there's something that the federal government should be doing, then you need to get a constitutional amendment to say that they should be doing that. Now, um, that begs some questions here, and I'm flirting with that line that I said that I didn't like to cross, where I talk about national politics. I'm not here to talk about national politics, but I am here to talk about principle. I disagree with what Governor Cox said. I think that he is a big government guy. And you can tell because he wants the federal government to make laws about stuff that Utah has already made laws about. We don't need that. He doesn't need that. He's the governor of Utah. He's not the governor of the country. But the principle that I think is important to hit on here is that the federal government needs to protect life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, um, or how I like to say, life, liberty, and property. Um, but you can read into that a lot of things, especially the pursuit of happiness. I think that that used to mean something that's really been twisted. And I've mentioned this a little bit before. I should do a whole video on property versus the pursuit of happiness. Maybe I'll do that sometime in the near future. But um, that should be a pretty small charter, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And I think that a lot of us want to read into that all kinds of things. I think particularly the left, they enjoy reading as much as they can into life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And the Constitution does say something about the common good or the common welfare or something like that. Um, and they say, well, that gives us license to do anything. And I think that is really, really dangerous. And I'm disappointed that our local leaders are like, oh, we did this great thing in Utah, and now the country should do the same thing. I mean, I don't think Governor Cox is talking about a constitutional amendment. Now, there's a difference because when we're talking about like the transgender movement and and like store what is it called, the story hour, the drag queen story hour. I think that you can have some national laws that kind of brush onto that, and where I think you kind of have to draw the line is that you you can have laws about, okay, well, we're not going to allow uh, gender transition surgeries for minors. I think you can make that a national thing because it will absolutely cripple a person's ability to pursue happiness if they are allowed to have these transgender surgeries when they are minors. There's so much that they are curtailing from their possible lives by doing these things. And so there can be a pretty solid case made. And I don't even know if I fall into, yeah, that should be a national thing, or no, that should be a states thing. I definitely think that the states should have laws about that, absolutely, and a lot of states are doing that, and I think that's great. um, should the country do that? Well, when it comes to protecting children, when it comes to protecting minors, I think that we've got some leeway there where we can say, okay, well, we're going to do what we would never do for adults, we're going to do it for children. Still, though, I think it's a slam dunk on the state level. I think that you really have to make a solid case that this is a constitutional issue if you're going to do a national thing with that. Um, so yeah, that's. I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this my post on that. I kind of want to do these more often, but I have to get more involved in local stuff, or else I'm going to run out of content. But yeah, states don't have a charter where they're like, okay, well, it has to be, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. They don't have that. They can make laws all over the place about all sorts of things, but the federal government needs to limit how much of that they do, and they need to leave it to the states. The 10th Amendment specifically says that if we don't cover it here in the Constitution, it's up for the states to decide how they're going to roll that. So let me know what you think. Obviously, this is a contentious subject, and it's something that I've moved back and forth on over the years. And if you think that I'm mistaken on some of this, I'd love to read in some of the comments, which may influence my thoughts on the matter. But yeah, have a great day.